right, I'm going to call this meeting to order at this time. So we always like to start our meetings out with an invocation and pledge allegiance. Today our invocation will be given by Rabbi Helen Einbinder. Einbinder. I always mess it up. Helene, sorry.
Once again, thank you for inviting one of the Interfaith Council members. I'm the Vice President, representing Beit Harim, the Jewish community of Southern Utah. Too often we waste this world. Too often we squander time on the trivial. Help us, Creator, to embrace the enduring. Too often we follow the foolish and the wicked. Too often we follow mockers and the arrogant. Help us, Lord, to honor humility. Too often we speak slander and violence. Too often we falter in our faithfulness. Protect us, Creator, from ourselves as from others. Too often we accept apathy and unconcern. Too often we are blind to the miracles of life. Protect us, Lord, from dullness and routine. Too often we limit our lives to the profane. Too often we ignore the treasures of the Torah or Bible. Inspire us, Creator, with a sense of the sacred. Too often we succumb to cynicism. Too often we wallow in the worthlessness. Inspire us, Lord, with the blessings of your truth. Spiritual blindness cannot lead to blessing. Life stripped of compassion is sterile and forlorn. Help us compassionate to help others. Protect us, Creator, from callousness. Inspire us, merciful with kindness. Protect us, Lord, from indifference. Help us to open our eyes to your Torah and Bible. Help us to open our hearts to your Torah or Bible. Help us to open our lives to you. And thanks once again.
Pledge of allegiance will be led by Lieutenant Colonel David Houston from the United States Marine Corps retired.
You stand, face the flag, hand over your heart, or salute as appropriate. Follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your service. This time we start with the consent agenda, which is a means of expediting routine matters which come before the commission for approval. The consent portion of the agenda is approved by one non-debatable motion. If any commissioner wishes to remove an item from the consent portion of the agenda, that item becomes the first order of business on the regular agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to approve today's consent agenda consisting of item A, consideration of auditor-approved claims for payment for July the 11th, 2018 through July 17th, 2018. Item B, consideration of administrative adjustments on real property. Item C, consideration of administrative adjustments personal property. Item D, consideration of application for property tax abatements, of which there are two. I would like to amend this motion that we make property serial number 0492986. We pull that from the consent agenda and consider that as our first item on the regular agenda. Item E, consideration of workers' housing project change order to protect against water contamination. Item F, consideration of transferring Sheriff's Office surplus kayaks to Washington City Recreation Center. And item G, acknowledgement of North Valley Ranch's well waterline project drinking water source protection plan in the New Harmony area. And that would be my motion.
Thank you. I'll second the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Our first item then becomes in regards to property 0492986 that is requesting a application for tax abatement.
Mr. Chairman, this item is in excess of the statutory amounts that we would otherwise passing automatically, and that's why it is before the commission for our consideration. I would make a motion to deny serial number 0492986, based on overriding.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. So we'll come to our regular portion of our agenda now. And the first item is consideration of purchase request by Ray Boyer.
Okay, the first couple here for the sheriff's office. The first one is for some steel bunks, and those come, in the total of $28,108.60. And the second one is a blanket purchase order for culinary items, in a total of $30,000. And the final one is for the convention and tourism, and it's funding, it's like for some advertising, and it's in the total of $17,720.
I had a question on this. On the, right underneath it has my name on there. Why is my name on that one?
It got entered in the wrong spot.
Okay.
Instead of in the approval area, it got entered into the wrong box, and I fixed that, so on the purchase order it'll be fixed.
Okay, thanks.
So you're not volunteering to fund that personally?
No.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we approve the purchase request as presented by Clerk Auditor's Office, Ray Boyer.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Passes. Item number 2 is emergency services report by our own Sheriff Corey Pulsifer. I don't think he has very much to report.
Actually, it's a very small report, not much been going on lately for us. In the last 30 days since the last report, we've only had 10 more call-outs. That brings us year to date to 75 call-outs. We're averaging a call-out every 2.6 days so far this year. I don't know what I'd do without my volunteers and stuff, but before I kind of get into some of the detail of that, along with the floods, and what's gone up in Dameron Valley and some of the things happening in our community, not only search and rescue, but through the Emergency Services Division, and trying to be up there dealing that heat here with Jason and the amount of hours that they put up in there, trying to manage and help with the resource and stuff. On Saturday, I know that they had about 150 plus volunteers that came in. Search and Rescue's been out twice to assist with sandbagging and stuff. We took some inmate crews in. But on Sunday, on that big cleanup effort, that was just one of the most incredible things. You know, both of you were up there to witness it, but they actually had 1,270 something people that actually signed in to volunteer. They're estimating about an additional 20% that may have just showed up with heavy equipment stuff that did come through the check-in process. So we know there's around 1,500 people up there that was helping out. Kudos to the LDS Church and the state leadership that put that together, bring those people in and to manage that. And then to the business owners that donated food and water and the different things. I could go through and start naming, but I know I'd forget somebody because there was so much that was offered. I think Pete said there was 97 different objectives that were assigned out to be completed that we know about. That these volunteers, they had these bucket brigades, 5-gallon buckets, emptying the water and debris and stuff out of the basements of homes, stripping the sheetrock, the insulation. County roads personnel was there helping us with the resources and the dump trucks and the tractors. It was just incredible to be part of that, to be able to help out. I want to make sure that we recognize all that.
Thank you, Sheriff, and I saw you there, and I saw your deputies there, and it was just amazing as Commissioner Renstrom and I walked into the reception area of the fire department. That was all organized out, and they instantly wanted to know who we are, and we were volunteers, and they were ready to put us on a bucket somewhere. And I know that Zach met a bucket on Saturday. But seeing all of these people, and I'm sure that it represented people from all stripes of our communities that actually showed up. And the LDS stake did show up in droves. They canceled their meetings. But it's just amazing how we come together and help each other. in a time of need. And so I recognize all of you that participated and all of our area residents. It's just amazing to see that. But what a great job, Sheriff, and Pete, Jason, and
All the volunteers that Pete had helping him with the check-in and the management and stuff, it was incredible to watch. It went really smooth. How quickly they could get that whole check-in process done was pretty amazing. So, along with that, we've with the search and rescue, the other call-outs, we assisted St. George in a missing person over in the 2-week wash area. Search and rescue was able to locate the individual, but he was deceased. They held the scene and turned it over to St. George for their investigations division. We had overdue hikers in Boundary Canyon, 3 overdue hikers. I went in on foot, was able to locate them near the MIA trail and assist them with water and stuff, get them stabilized, and then bring them back out to IC. We had a scout leader and 2 boys got a little bit lost and ledged up on Red Mountain Trail. Did not have enough water and stuff, got a little bit hydrated with some heat exhaustion. Lifelight actually came in, was able to assist us in dropping supplies to them to get them stabilized until we could get personnel to them and bring them off the mountain. Ill hiker up Chuckawalla Trail, ATV accident out in Warner Valley, another ATV accident on Sand Mountain. That one was pretty serious, medical injuries. They ended up using Lifelight and taking the victim straight to Las Vegas Trauma Center. Again, they were out, and this is kind of interesting thing, on the 12th, on Thursday, they showed up with that first bit of flooding that started. They logged 80 man-hours that first night, turned around and went back out and was on Pine Valley on a search until 2-something in the morning.
Yeah, it was.
Came back on Saturday, helping us again in Dameron Valley with all the flooding and stuff, and then turned around that night and then back up Hot Valley on some individuals that got off the trail and got lost. And Zions was actually busy on another rescue with their team, so they asked for our assistance to go in. And so our search and rescue guys, again, dropped everything and went out there. So just in this last reporting, there were an additional 323 man-hours on actual call-outs of service that these guys have provided. So I don't know what I'd do without them.
it's incredible. Yeah. Any words of caution or advice for our residents with these monsoonal flows coming back in the end of the week?
Completely stay out of all the slot canyons and any place that water can run, because it may not be storming where you're at, but it could be above you and it will come down. And also remember that in this heat, you can't take enough water. It's having a lot of the heat exhaustion, dehydration issues and stuff, how hot it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, on Boundary Canyon, that's in basically right there in Zions National Park, so why didn't the park respond?
They were busy on another call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think on that one, they weren't quite sure where the individuals were lost, but Zions, they've been dealing with a lot on their own, and they do have their own team that they handle just in the park, but sometimes they get overwhelmed, and we come in and help, and then there's been times when we've needed their assistance, and they come help us. So periodically, a couple times a year, we do get the opportunity to train together, especially with the high and low ropes, specialty things like that. So we really appreciate the partners that we have.
Great, we handle that coordination between the two.
Thanks,
Sheriff.
Sheriff.
And I will say, so on Saturday, I was up in Dameron Valley and the call got out, and all of a sudden, I look and I see this car just flying down, and it was our own sheriff. He'd heard it on the radio, and he jumped it. He must have fought
It was driving safely, I'm sure.
It was pretty fast. But I was impressed with how quickly he heard that there was an area in our county that was in need, and how quickly he personally responded to that from, I don't know where you were at, but you got there pretty quick. All right, moving on to the agenda, we have consideration of resolution number R-2018-2347, the resolution appointing members to the Washington County Library Board. We have our own library director, Joe here.
All right, thank you. We have 2 positions that are the terms are coming to an end on them. One of them was for Ellie Atkin, who replaced his father's position a few months ago. So he hasn't served very long on the board, but he's been a valuable part of the board since he came on. And I asked him if he was willing to continue, and he said if we're willing to have him, and we definitely are. So we're excited to have him renew his membership on the board. And then the other position is for one of the commissioner slots. Commissioner Renstrom has done a great job and been very supportive in helping us achieve some of the initiatives that we've been working on, including the Hilldale Library and the New Harmony project up there, and a couple other things that have really made a difference in the library. And we thank him for his service, and I think at this point in time, Commissioner Cox is going to be taking over that role on the library board. Any questions?
Okay, well, thank you for the great job that you're doing as the library director. That's a big job, and our library has approximately 55 employees. It's probably grown a little bit now with Hilldale, so around 60 or?
Around 60.
And so you've done an outstanding job with that. We're very appreciative of it. Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion in support of Resolution R 2018-2347, appointing Dean Cox and Kelly Atkin to serve on the board. Did I say when the term's ending on June 30th, 2022?
So you can vouch for the character of these two individuals?
I know one of them, and Mr. Atkin is an outstanding citizen in our community. The other guy,
I'll vouch for him. So I'll be honored to second that. So all in favor say aye. Aye.
aye.
Motion passes. The resolution passes. Number 5 is consideration of resolution number R-2018-2349, a resolution approving execution of an intergenerational property plan implementation pilot program grant with matching funds. And Nicole.
Thank you, Commissioners. So just as a little background, as you're aware, in 2016, Washington County was charged by the Lieutenant Governor to develop an intergenerational poverty plan. And from that, Washington County created a committee with probably over 30 agencies from our county to form our plan, and we've submitted it already. But this year, the Department of Workforce Services is requesting grant applications from counties to implement local solutions to address intergenerational poverty. And it is a one-time grant funded by the State of Utah General Fund. I believe the grant for a total is $999,000. And so far they have 12 letters of intent. So from that, we were one of them that put an intent letter together. The title of our proposal is Education and Mentoring Across Generations. We are working and joining forces with Court Support Services, and Charmaine Gold is here to represent them today. Ditsy Technology College we're also joining forces with, along with Switchpoint that helps us with our Circles program and our Pillars program. The thing that when we thought about this grant, knowing that it was just one time, we really came up with, we think, what is a great plan, and we wanted to make sure that the sustainability was there. For the fact that after this money runs out, we wanted to make sure that we had a really strong program, so that although we might not be able to help as many individuals as we could if we had an additional grant funding, that we still would be able to help, and this program would succeed throughout the coming years. So what comes before you today is a pretty aggressive grant proposal. Because we were recognized as, within Washington County, we were 45% IGP rate. And so that means that 45% of children 0 to 17 years of age are at risk of remaining in poverty. And so we are currently requesting, out of the $999,000, $300,000 of that, at which we would have to match 25%. The county would have to have a matching 25%, which can be in-kind contribution. And within the program, we do have a budget put together where we have easily matched that if we are awarded up to the $300,000 mark. So it comes before you today for consideration of approval of us being able to submit for that grant.
letters of support from, I think, almost half the organizations in the county.
So we have, yes, I kind of pounded the pavement, and we did receive about 29 letters of support, 7 letters of commitment. They're very different. One's simply supporting, the other 7 are actually committing to seeing this, if we do receive this grant. Whether we receive it or not, we really would like to move forward and just work with the 7 different agencies to start a program such as this to see if we can really start to make a difference within our percentage of IGP rate.
Nicole, thank you for the work that you and Commissioner Iverson have been spending, I know, almost countless hours on this, working with the Lieutenant Governor's office and the different state agencies and partners that are participating in kind and with letters of support. I think this is a promise that I hope will someday bear fruit, and it's one that I would make a motion in support of the resolution, Mr. Chairman, in support of Resolution R 2018-2349, approving execution of the Intergenerational Poverty Plan Implementation Pilot Program Grant Matching Funds.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes. And then point of order, I skipped number 4, so we'll go back to that. And that is consideration of resolution number R-2018-2348, a resolution appointing members to the Washington County Career Service Council and Commissioner Cox.
I'd be happy to speak to that. Mr. Chairman, the Career Service Council helps the county with some of the thornier employment-related issues that we have, and fortunately, I think in the last couple of years, we haven't had anything at all for them to do. And that's really a good thing. But the terms of office for Gary Cremont, Michelle Mitchell, and Brian Simonson have expired, and we've had a chance to visit with Michelle Mitchell. Michelle is an attorney with a deep background in employment law. She's been really a strength on the Career Service Council, and she has agreed to serve another term. And we've also reached out, and Dennis Drake, a former county commissioner, and Dave Sterland, who is currently the chair of the Washington County School Board, and one of the area's very largest employers, has agreed to serve as alternate, to serve on the board, and I believe that's as alternate members. My motion would be to appoint them with terms ending for Michelle Mitchell on June 30th, 2021, and Dennis Drake and Dave Sterland on June 30th, 2021. And that would be my motion.
Good. I hope we never use them. But I will second the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 6 is consideration of resolution number R-2018-2350, a resolution appointing a member to the Southern Utah Shooting Sports Park Advisory Board. And we have our own shooting park expert. Is that your new title?
Oh, something like that. I've been called other things.
Okay.
Brent Jensen, manager of the Southern Utah Shooting Sports Park. We have a 9-member board out there that manages the park. We have a vacancy. Gary Davis, who's been a faithful member, has employment out of the area and so has had to resign. So we have a vacancy. We received the nomination of Lance Gifford from Hurricane. He's an employee of the city over there in the building department, and comes recommended by Gary Davis, also by George Geo, the committee chair. George would have been here, but he's recovering from surgery. So he comes with some experience, having served on the board back when it was part of the special service district. And so,
Thank you.
okay,
So you know, you're familiar with Lance?
pardon?
You know Lance personally?
I don't.
Okay. I've only met him a couple times, and he seemed like a very nice gentleman. And
They come highly recommended by some notable people, so.
thank you.
Brent, thank you for your work
Yeah.
out at the Shooting Sports Park. We appreciate it, and based on the recommendation of others, I'd make a motion in support of Resolution R 2018-2350, approving Lance Gifford to fill the remainder of Gary Davis's term, Southern Utah Shooting Sports Park Advisory Board.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes.
I noticed we've got Betty Ariel, and she's probably representing Senator Lee, but you're also an esteemed member of the St. George City Council with us. Thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure.
Are you here to check up on us? Is that?
Just to enjoy the nice cool in the room.
You know, what I was thinking, Commissioners, I think they're actually trying to figure out how we can run how they can run their meetings as efficiently as we run ours.
Absolutely.
I will notice that you guys are starting to do consent agenda.
We are, have a nice relief. Instead of 9 o'clock, we can get out at 7, so.
Oh, good.
it's not bad.
Well, welcome.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad you're here.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 7 is consideration of resolution number R-2018-2351, a resolution authorizing the filing documents to opt into the payment in lieu of taxes settlement. And Commissioner Cox?
I'll speak to that. Kane County, about reading some of the nuances of the PILT appropriation and authorization law that was passed a few years ago, and PILT is payment in lieu of tax. And Adam, I want to recognize you there as well. Thank you for coming, representing Congressman Stewart. The federal government hasn't always been really able, or it's a highly charged, polarized atmosphere, I think, back there, but they're not able and haven't in the past always fully funded, billed, and made the payments. And Kane County has read the law very carefully, and they think that they have a case against the federal government. They've taken it to court. It has now been certified as a class action and open to all counties. And so this resolution would authorize Washington County to join on and be a member of the class. And so that's what that is. We do appreciate everything that our senator and congressman are doing. PILT is literally pennies on the dollar, and 77% of Washington County is federally owned. It's a beautiful country. We're very appreciative of it, but it comes with a lot of expenses, our search and rescue and things that are taking place on those federal lands that we're asking our taxpayers to pick up and pay that tab. And PILT is a valuable offset to some of those costs. And so I make a motion in support of Resolution 2018-2351, authorizing the filing documents to opt in to the payment in lieu of taxes settlement.
Thanks. And I know Congress actually funded the program, but the Department of Interior didn't pay it.
That's
so
right.
this is going on. So I will second that. I read the law and agree with the lawsuit. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And I would like to note, when we were up there on Sunday, I saw Adam covered in mud from head to toe because he had been in somebody's basement mucking out.
Running a bucket day.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm
Thank
glad you
you,
took a
Adam.
shower before you came.
Several.
Several.
And cleaned his shoes too, from what I can see.
Those were from
Item number 8 is consideration of resolution number R-2018-2352, a resolution approving the renaming of a portion of East Baker Dam Road to Homestead Ranch Road. And I was...
Is that just a portion of the road?
Yeah, but I'd like to make a motion that we table this. I've been talking with UDOT a little bit. there's some things we want to work out with UDOT before we take any action, so on my own,
Chairman, I'll second your motion.
perfect. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes to table that item. Item number 9 is consideration of resolution number R-2018-2353, a resolution approving the execution of agreement between Washington County and Randy Taylor regarding transferring ownership of real property and approving the execution of a quitclaim deed transferring ownership of the parcel. And our own clerk auditor, Mr. Haven's here.
Plain old Kim's do. The county comes into ownership of certain parcels in a few different ways, but mostly through tax sales. Most often, the parcels that we get ownership of are ones that people don't buy in a tax sale. This particular parcel is a good parcel. It's actually a building lot in Bloomington Hills. Back in maybe this is more you want to know, back in 1984, the parcel was in the tax sale, and at that time, the county would section off a piece that would cover the taxes that were owed. So this parcel was reduced by 15% to cover the past due taxes, and somebody bought that 15%. Then 5 years later, the big piece came back in the tax sale, no taxes were paid. So we've had the property for almost 30 years. And typically, we don't get parcels that are quite as good, but it has sat in our inventory since then, and we had a request to purchase that. And so we went through the process that we go through. We advertised, the assessor's office gives us a market value, and we had an auction. We did the advertising, and we had 2 bidders here. One didn't bid, and one bid the minimum of $54,000. So it's my recommendation that we would ratify the sale of this property to Randy Taylor for $54,000. She paid that on the day of the sale.
I think it's great we're getting this back out to the public and on production, so.
And it's back on the tax rolls, and I will make a finding that this was properly advertised. It was sold in a public auction to the highest bidder, and the price seems consistent with the value of the parcel. With those findings, I'll make a motion in support of resolution 2018-2353, authorizing the sale of the parcel from Washington County to Randy Taylor.
I'll go ahead and second that, and all in favor, say aye.
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 I'll just add with that, I had a request, I know that the county has one other, but I would consider a building lot in Dixie Springs, and I had a request today for the purchase of that lot. So we're starting the ball rolling and the wheels of progress to get that in an auction as well.
Where do you advertise these at, just for public information?
So, and this is advertised, Ricky kind of does that for us in the paper for 2 weeks prior to the time of the sale. And if we have a parcel that is, a building lot with a strip or a portion, we always notify by mail the adjacent property owners. We don't think it's quite necessary when it's a building lot because it's sat there for.
When it's a sliver.
When it's a sliver, maybe only helps just either one or the other. We notify both parties that are adjoining. We advertise newspaper.
It's also posted on the public notice website as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
And we'll come to commissioner report. We kind of already shared about the flood. Oh, we should announce our special meeting.
Yes.
You want to do that?
As everyone is aware, we've had several incidents of localized flooding in the county, some in Washington, some in Hurricane, and some in the unincorporated area that we administer. And the bulk of that has been in the Dameron Valley area. So we want to, and we're working right now administratively with the BLM and Utah Department of Transportation, Emergency Services, the Sheriff's Office, our engineers, to educate ourselves about what the possibilities are for coming up with a plan of helping to mitigate or resolve some of those flooding issues in that area. And we're going to actually meet administratively on Friday, but we've got a public meeting that will be held in Dameron Valley on August 13th, and is that at 6 p.m.?
Correct.
Yep.
At 6 p.m. at the fire station, and I hope and encourage all interested homeowners and individuals to come and share their ideas with us and let us discuss with them some of what we're able to learn between now and August 13th to help resolve and mitigate
Yeah.
those concerns.
No, it's open to the public, we invite everybody. We'll be sharing lots of information, we'll be receiving information about some of their thoughts, so encourage people to come. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay.
We're adjourned, thank you very much.